Good morning, folks. It's 11:04, and the date really doesn't matter. It's high time we all get healthy, and every time of day is time for that. So this morning, I'm going to do a few things with you, and I got a special guest I didn't know I was going to have. I'm going to teach you to make Vortexor again, and I'm going to make structured water. I'm going to talk about structured water. I'm going to talk about the Ioni and how it can help your body like it helped mine, or hopefully it helps you like it helped mine. I haven't seen a result yet that hadn't over time. So what I want to do first is I'd like to introduce you to one of our partners of Ioni, and I'm going to ask him a few questions. You guys might have some questions. So without further ado, I'm going to flip the camera around here. I'll introduce you to John. Not very sure how to pronounce your last name.
Ayres.
Ayres.
A-Y-R-E-S.
Oh yeah, there's a town in Australia called that. Let's see if I can get that out.
Like Ayres Rock.
Yeah, well, not something like a Fraggle Rock even. But I want to ask you a few questions. How did you get involved with Ioni? First hearing about it.
Well, first, I deal in China. I've got a shop, an eBay shop. I deal in China. Well, anything, basically. I go into bottle oven trading. And I got told about some ware, some cookware, some Wade's gluggle jugs, if everybody knows what a gluggle jug is.
Does that on that shelf up there?
Yeah, there's some on the shelf up there. Anyway, I went down to see Dave, who's one of the partners down here, with the professors and myself, and that's how I got to know Dave about 12 months ago. And then all this came about. I didn't know he was involved with the professor. Anyway, the rest they say is history.
Yeah, it is history.
And I'm now a director with Dave and the professor.
Did you feel any immediate health benefits off the Ioni when you first started using it?
It's changed my life, literally.
How so?
Well, I'm type 2 diabetic. I had an ileostomy 9 years ago in Feb, so all my large bowel went, all my colon went, my bum was stitched up, so I have a colostomy bag on for life. But with the Ioni and the structured water, it doesn't stop me doing anything. It really has changed my life. It really has, especially the Ioni.
Yeah, I've got to say it has with me too. Yeah. Especially with my leg.
The water is absolutely fantastic, but the Ioni is something else. It's so special, and it's getting people to understand that the Ioni, with its frequency and it centres your body with in conjunction with the Earth's frequency, and you're healthier, your organs work better, you feel better, you're more energised. It's a wonderful invention.
Is what you're feeling. You keep going to the doctor though, right, to verify your results?
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I can make sure that's known. Make sure that's known.
He doesn't want to know, to be honest. If you're feeling all right, John, that's fine. But they won't go into it. And I did say at the beginning of all this, the biggest problem we'll have selling the Ioni is getting people to believe that it works and does what it does. But it does work. I'm living proof. Whether I sold another Ioni or not, ever, I shall have it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I have mine.
It so energised me, and I can do so much. I've got a big wood burner at home. I still cut big trees down with my chainsaw and log them, and I'm 73. So
well, you make honey too, don't you?
Pardon?
Or the bees make the honey. You keep bees too, don't you?
Yes, I'm a beekeeper as well.
He is. It makes a fine tasting honey. You see, so many people benefiting from this tech. I also wanted to ask you, you keep with the professor. Tell us a little bit about the professor. You know him better than I do.
I've known the professor about 8 or 9 months now. He's a wonderful chap. To me, he's another Nikola Tesla with all his inventions. I mean, I can't talk about the inventions or anything, that they're his. Yeah. So I can't comment on them. But he really is another Nikola.
Well, he does have the Flight Master coming out soon, doesn't he? So another device is coming out soon, isn't it? The Flight Master.
Yeah, the Flight Master, which stops. If you go on a long haul flight, you get jet lag, and it stops that.
Specific frequency that he knows about.
Yeah.
Well, can't wait to hear more about this.
7.83 hertz. Setting 3 on the Ioni.
So it's the same as the setting 3. I think he wants to have it look like a watch.
7.83.
So that's human resonance.
Yeah, that's right.
And you also get other frequencies on this as
well.
There are
other frequencies that do other stuff.
Uh-huh.
Setting 2 will help you to sleep. It's like the opera singer with the wine glass. It cannot be ignored. the glass will smash at that frequency.
I'm just showing you the
it's
settings.
also very good for your
You
mental
shut
health.
it off, you'll get nothing. You
Yeah.
hit it one time, hit
That's
it back
right.
on.
And set
And again,
it for double
Pop it again,
frenzy.
and you'll watch her blinking.
It really will.
That one there is like super meditation mode.
Energy and stamina.
The number one though isn't that the setting that for the to keep this the little centerpiece for the certain funguses for
Certain
growing
funguses,
long
when
enough to
cells
reproduce?
I think most people have seen cells separate over TV or whatever, or documentaries. And that line down the middle is called the mitotic spindle. Well, setting one stops the cell from separating and multiplying. So that's good for that.
That's very
And it
that's
does
very
other
good
stuff
news
as
to
well.
hear that
Yeah.
that's
It's an
human resonance.
alongside device and not in place of.
Yeah, you often wonder if we didn't have so much EMF around the world, if the Schumann resonance was normal, would we even have that kind of a problem to begin with?
Probably not. No.
Yes, I wonder these things
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I know you've got a lot to do. I just wanted to have a quick chat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I want you guys to look at this this film I'm going to show you here that's on our website. So I'm going to turn the screen around now. Try to bear with. And I'm going to play this video for you guys.
Welcome to PEMF training, and in this first video we'll look at how it works. What does it do to your body? And for that we need to understand that we are energy beings, electrical beings having a physical experience. When you go from the biggest, like the universe, which is held in place by magnetic fields within the quantum field, in the same way when we go to the smallest, electrons cruising around a nucleus core that is just as far apart and just as tiny in matter as the universe. So understanding that just that swill of energy is actually you in billions of cells all put together, then we understand that the electricity, the energy necessary for us to be alive and healthy is very crucial. Now, when you look at the cell in itself, we can see that there is outside a lipid profile, and that is protecting the cell within itself with the internal factory, ATP production. And if that is in balance, we have equal amount of positive and negative within the cell, then the cell has a healthy membrane potential. And that membrane potential allows the cell to work optimally. Usually it's between 60 and 80 millivolt. Now, if you compare that with everything outside, as soon as we have a healthy environment in nature, we have that balance between negative and positive ions, and it's in constant motion. Whereas if we go into a stale room where the air is not ventilated, where there is no air circulation, that's when we have high positive ionization. And you can see here, negative ions are a lot more active. There is more ions cruising around the nuclei, whereas in a positive ion, there is less movement, there is less action. Which means if we imbalance those two, if we become in our life more sedentary, we don't exercise, we don't spend outdoors, we don't hike and swim in nature, then our cells slowly deplete. And as we all know, with our lifestyle, we really struggle with that. So this is the situation that we find in nature and also within ourselves. So as soon as we have a healthy cell, it works. All those membrane receptors work perfectly. And as soon as the cell loses that energy and we get too many positive ions, or actually lack of negative ions, that's when the cell deflates. And then it looks like an all shriveled up balloon, which doesn't really allow full functioning. Low ATP production, and that's when we go into that fermentative state of the cell producing high acidity, lactic acid, and yeast production in the body, which then is pretty much a vortex. It just gets worse. So we have two options. One would be to exercise outdoors, fresh air all the time, or we use energy that travels through the body, pulses through the body to recharge our body with negative ions. And then there is another very important factor, those ion channels at the outside of your cells, and I'll cover that more in the detox video, heavy metal detox video. But that's where it really becomes important that your cell have a healthy membrane potential. Because if you're shriveled up and your cells are falling apart, then it's very hard for the cell to take in nutrients and release waste products. Also, if there is toxins that are locked onto the cell and they hold on with their negative charge to a particular membrane opening, then that is blocked and no nutrients can go in. And that's what we blast off with those heavy pulses from the PMF, like those massive shock waves. They are released from the cell and then can be caught in a detox process where we catch them with binder to eliminate them well. And that's pretty much the foundation why PEMF works. That's all. It's not that much. Everything else is a chain reaction. For example, improved microcirculation. When you have more oxygen and your red blood cells more pliable, they can reach every organ. Accelerated cellular detox from heavy metals and PCBs and dioxins, which is actually due to the shock wave. You blast those off and then you can bind and eliminate
It's okay, John, I'm here.
Increased supply of oxygen to charged hemoglobin. The hemoglobin holds, I think, 250 oxygen molecule if properly charged. If improperly charged, when your blood saturation goes down, well, that's when you have only, let's say, 100 oxygen molecules holding on to that hemoglobin and traveling through the body. So by charging and increasing negative ionization within each cell, you can then carry more oxygen, which means also when you open up with membrane potential your cell, then you can actually absorb more nutrients. That increases ATP production. That produces then more antioxidants. It's all a chain reaction from that one single thing. Increasing your negative ionization, increasing the potential of each cell. Now the cell still needs to work on its own, but it has more energy to do so. And that's why you find in elderly people that when they start using PMF, they build up more and more energy. And depending on how far down you are, it might take a while to bring you back up, but you will find that it always happens over time. You build up more and more resilience. The body can deal with more and more things at the side before you reach proper health. And I won't go through all of them. You'll see them in other videos. We'll cover them in more detail when we go into medical terms and medical videos. So I just wanted to start out with a short video that you understand the main factor is actually that increase in membrane.
Right. So I really wanted you to see that video. It's a very, very important one. It talks about how the cell has to blast that crap up the outside of it. It's just actually stuck on the outside of it, and until it is, it won't, like I say, sift properly, bring nutrients in, and excrete the badnesses out through its natural processes. And that's very, very important. Hey, John's still here, but he has to run up the road. Yeah, so I'd like to teach you guys now what system is. Now, water, we all know, is very essential. And to have the Ioni operate in a frequency inside a matrix of very good water, well-structured water, is essential. You know, what sifts into the cell has to be good for the cell. All right, and there's many ways to structure water. And I went into a video on that, was it yesterday or the day before? An ice cube is a structure of water. Steam is a structure of water. You might not think of it like that, but it is a structure of it. And the structure we want is high in hydrogen, high in negative ions. Okay, so it attaches to the negative things on the outside of the cell, pulls them, and it's high in oxygen. So the process that I'm going to show you is to make structured water, to make a Vortexor. I could do it right from scratch. But, it takes a few moments to get everything to be made. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is get this the Vortexor, which I make, which is a design of Victor's. Well, Victor came up with, didn't he, John, with the stuff with the Vortex and stuff, and he released this for free at the turn of the century of the 1900s. So nobody's stealing anybody's anything. It's essential we make a good Hall effect. In other words, when a magnetic flux line intersects a copper winding or a winding that conducts electricity, it induces a voltage. And as that flux line leaves, it's a little snap tendril of a strand of energy or magnetic flux line goes back toward the magnet. And it creates an effect called the Hall effect and briefly energizes the water. It only takes about 20 seconds. Any more than that, you're just wasting your time, and actually the molecules themselves brushing against each other. You bring the potential of the electric down, because I've been checking that. Because I'm curious, I'd like to know things. I don't have anybody currently here to check a blood sample. I will. Now let me get myself a glass of water now. This is distilled water. Distilled water has all its minerals and impurities removed from it, so it will no longer conduct electricity. So an electrolyte, or a mineral that electricity can flow around the outside of, cannot happen. And so in here is I got some sea salt, and just give it a little shake. Don't take much. What did I just knock over? Hey, you spilled the salt and didn't spill the salt. Now you gotta do something like that. All right. So then I'm going to vortex it. A vortex itself will naturally put electrical potential into things, but this is not what I'm after. I want a high potential, and I want this electrolyte stirred up well, and the magnets here have to be even with the windings themselves. If you put them up here, you're making it wrong. It's wrong. You're not making a proper Hall effect. You're not getting it to the correct amount of potential that you can. It's only about 20 seconds. You don't run these long. They're not designed to make the whole neighborhood's wetter. Just that long. Doesn't take long at all to do. I'm wanting a glass of water, anyway. I went right to this. I just pour it in this flask. This is a hydrogen generator, an ionizer. And what it does, it has 2 titanium plates in the bottom of it. And, got a little happy in it. It holds about 450 mil, that. Some people actually, some of the flasks actually have a little nipple on the top. You could breathe the hydrogen itself that's coming off it. And people are finding there's benefits and new researches about that. Well, not quite new, but it's becoming quite popular. So, just a little water, clean it up. So what goes on now, here's my favorite part, is the chemical reaction is occurring between the 2 electroplates down here. It's there's inside the water itself, some hydrogen and some oxygen is not bound as water. This will bind those two of the hydrogens together and 2 oxygens together and release ions, basically. So water stays as water, because somebody was wondering about that. So there's actually molecules floating in it that ain't being used. If it was, otherwise how would a fish breathe? Right, when it digs it into its gills. Right, so you get a nice reaction, right? So you know you've had enough salt in it. And if you cut this off, let it sit about 5 minutes and do it a couple times, you can bring the hydrogen content up higher. But it's even the first time through, they've measured between 1600 to 1900 ppm. You can get it higher than that by letting it rest 5 minutes and doing it again. And after about 5 cycles, you can get it up higher. But I just need this. As soon as you got to give them a tap to get some hydrogen bubbles or oxygen is built up under the plate. And this just cuts off on its own. And you drink a lovely glass of that. I'll see you later, John. Yeah, I got this.
Bye,
Yeah, I'm going to do vortex and make in town and teach people to be able to take health in their own hand. You can buy them yourself, you know. I ain't making that much on these. If you want me to make you one, I'm happy to. But I'll teach you how to do this yourself. And I'm happy to help groups do this. Okay? So you could take your health in your own hand. In the spirit of Tesla, shouldn't he would have taught everybody how to do this. And I want you to. It isn't about one person selling to everybody. It's about everybody doing it yourself. Hey, I like these kind of units because they're so portable. And in an emergency type situation, if you didn't have power and stuff, but you have the ability to charge batteries, you could still have your water. right? You can still do this. I've actually was drinking with tap water when I was in Liverpool, not using distilled water. My result wasn't as good on the microscope as is with distilled water. It made Liverpool tap water taste good. Remember I said drinking it, I couldn't believe how good the water tasted just from that. Yeah, it still just goes along. It cuts off on its own after 2 minutes, and they're rechargeable. It'd have been nice if they used a Type-C charger on that one. I like Type-C chargers. You just use every one you get. But that's got one of those small pin ones. So, to make a Vortexor, we can get onto this part. Now, how am I going to aim it so you can see what I'm doing? All right, I'll go like this. I like a tray in my lap. You will need, to make a Vortexor, you will need magnets. The size magnets I'm using are roughly about 30 by 10 by 0.3. If you can get 25s, they work, but sometimes they don't.
Potential due to an increase in negative.
I wasn't expecting that. It's Arnold talking in the background. Well, that we will determine that we will have good water. You'll need that. You'll need some kind of a double-sided tape of some kind, right? You'll need the magnets. Then you will have to spend time putting the tape on the magnets, making sure they're nice and square, how you like it. I do. I'm mainly retentive. So I'm going to make some Vortexors. So you will need that. You will need any standard protein shake mixer or something you can spin, right? And you have to put some windings on it. These type windings are very available. They're used in brewing beer, all right? They're called prismatic copper springs. These are SKU 10245, okay? They're just standards. Yeah, somebody ever told you they were sitting winding those things? I think you got lied to. Yeah, because when I went looking for a winder, these came straight up, and I'm like, I recognize those. So you'll need 6 of those for each of these, the ones you're going to make. I can actually see comments over there, so I want to teach you to make this now. So the first thing you'll need also to do is you're going to get an alcohol wipe. And I use these kinds. Get your hands. If you see dirty on my fingernails, that's actually from working with glue. It's not. But when I do bloods, I use gloves in here. And this for you. And this is just to prep the surface. If you don't get these clean and remove all hand oils, all that kind of stuff from them, your glue don't stick as good. So I'm going to make 3 of these. I'm wasting time. Hey, when you guys buy, when I buy more. That's all. I'm not making that much on. I can't afford all this buy from China. Whoever thought I made all that money? Would you see a cases of these sold cheap? Idiots. There's some of the stuff I get. You give them a good wipe. All the residue off these, and then I'm going to mark them. And by wiping my hands with the wipe, I took a lot of the oil off my hands. It'll be very, very dry. And it'll stick good to that one. And then I'll do the insides and out when I'm done with alcohol. Right? This other one. Yeah, might as well teach you to make them. Take your health into your own hands. You have to. If something happens in the world, just regular sea salt. I know some people use borax as their electrolyte. Yes, that's their personal choice. Legally, I can't advise you to drink that. Right? I can't. Well, we know. But I'm getting a great vibrant reaction. Added the Celtic sea salt. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm after is that reaction. Right? If I want to change my alkali levels and stuff, I can adjust it with salts and this and that. Pink salts, whatever's your preference. I just want to see a vibrant reaction out of this thing. When I hit that button, I want to see the bubbles. I want to see lots of them. And when I drink the water, I don't want it to taste too salty. Well, you'll learn. You got about 3 little shakes. 3 emerald bam into the pan, right? Bam! Bam that shit. I love science. Isn't that cool? Ooh. So I'm increasing my hydrogen content now. So I got that, I got that, I got that, I got that. All right, then you're going to have to make a tool that brings the level of this thing where when you put the magnets in, they perfectly intersect that beater bar where you're going to put the coils. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to do is put some windings in, which I'm going to do now. But you ain't going to see that I'm doing it. I'm just going to tell you. I use a pair of tweezers. I find them very handy. And I go on the inside and I drop one on. See that? Doing that at arm's length is difficult. 1, 2. And my last one, I usually go to this one, the crimper, and I'll spring load it. I go 3 coils down. I find it's a sufficient crimp. I push it down until I've intersected that tip that comes out. Give it a good squeeze. It ain't going nowhere. Or easy to replace. You ever have to unwind when you stick another one on. Just that simple. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. There is no doubt. When I tell you they're a pain in the ass to make, I meant it. Now I'm going to just do it like I normally do. Just that simple. And then you mark them. And if you got any questions, just ask. If you're interested in an Ioni, you could pick it on that site. If you want to order it as a combo, here's what we've come up with. Since there's like no direct coupon codes and people like to order it as a system, you pay the website the full whatever they say. And then I deduct your shipping that they charged from the price of the twin kit to even everything out. And it's coming in at, it was the twin kit by itself tracked is overseas. England's a little different. England is 6 pounds to send, I think, or 7. Is 28 pounds to set a twin kit overseas. 28 to 26, depending if you're mainland or not. Yeah, I'm just going to put these on while I talk to you. And I'm happy to do that. As a matter of fact, if the mail comes, you're going to watch me hop up real quick and hand the package off. Because I got ordered yesterday and I'm waiting for him to pick it up. If I get lucky, it's in your hand tomorrow. Because it's mainland here. If not, Monday. So I try to be fast. Because remember when I tried to fix somebody else's problem, he just kept taking more orders. Never let me catch up. I caught up within the amount of time of the 45 orders. Well, I don't know about you, but I like my stuff fast. I like it very fast. And so I like to also be in good communications with you. As you guys have found out. Some of you are not on my wall. I'm just now getting to know you. If I opened up my messenger to all comments, I'd never get any sleep. I'll get a message for somebody and then I'll hear, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was that late. It was like 3 in the morning. So I have to turn my phone off when I go to bed at night, which is detrimental to having a phone. You know, I have a mother and a son and a grandson and a brother. You know, if something's wrong, they might want to be able to get in touch with me. All right, there's two done. You got a rhythm going, but make sure you do it correctly. Take your time. This isn't about how many can Robert make on an assembly line. I couldn't afford an assembly line. It's about how many can I make right. If I have to took the magnets off 5 times till I'm happy with it, I will. It is important the magnetic field is balanced because there's a metal rod that spins that thing. You can cause cavitation on it, which will weaken the motor and in time make it how would you say, fail prematurely. Only warrantying it for about a month. The shipping on them is exorbitant. I'd rather you make them. And if you have a group and you'd like me to talk to you while you make them and explain anything, I'm more than happy to do that. In fact, I welcome it. I miss doing talks very much. Yeah, when you're reaching the public that you don't reach on here, it's very, very important. Sounds like again, I'll go ahead and put those last 3s on. And that's how I make them, folks. That's how you'll make them. And copper is expensive. Don't be wasting one just because you don't like how it fits. I like it sliding on easy. I'll show you just how to do that too when you get a bad one. Let me do this last one. And then I'm going to mark them. Put the magnets on them, and then there's going to be 3 more Vortexors ready to separate that blood, man. Separate that blood. That's what I like. It was nice. I wasn't expecting John to be able to speak this morning. Yeah, that was a little treat. I like the guy. Those are done. Then save your magnets. Now, if you screw one off like I just did with this one, you'll end up getting a little out of shape. Just take your tweezers and just put it in it. You get it right back. That's perfect. So you spread it back out. Now you get those from beer people. I provided links to a few groups. Here's where you could source your hydrogen flask. I'll be happy for you to do that. It cost me a fortune. They're hard to get. I'm paying here 40 pounds a piece for them. And why is he selling them for 60? That's why. I'm able to cut that set out at 135 if you picked it up in the shop, right? I don't see how I'll be able to keep that much longer because the price of the raw materials are going up. Right? People before profits, man. I gotta make sure you got them in your hands. That's why I encourage you making them. Okay, I've got that on now. And again, I've been touching these, and because I touched them, again, when I put these on, within 2 or 3 minutes, you have a hard time pulling them off. I used to have to set emblems on cars. Yeah, you're going to be paying a lot of money for that Impala emblem. And they want it all right. And they didn't sure want that sucker falling off going down the road. Not talking the old ones that were held on with the bolt on the inside, the new ones. Yeah, you have to know how to prep your surfaces. And don't be afraid to do it 5 or 6 times if you've touched it. You don't go, oh, it'll be okay. Nah, I'm sorry. Yeah, one of the times where the magnets was falling off because somebody's son didn't wipe his hands right, and they came off. He even said so. Yeah, well, my son developed something. Yeah, and it didn't work right. It's a bad design, in my opinion. Doesn't create a proper Hall effect, according to scientists. Yeah, they supposedly have degrees makes you one, right? Yeah, but so that dude there was a salesman that doesn't even understand to do it right. Am I happy with that? Yes. All right, now I get my special tool. Inside my coffee cup is enough pieces of cardboard to bring that to the level I want. And the level I want brings the magnet even with the coils inside to produce a good Hall effect. And that'll be as sufficient. How did I determine that? Well, I just kept holding this up to the side of it, and so I went, yep, that'll do. If you go with too much, you'll hit a curve on these plates, which is okay. But it lifts up this thing a bit, so you'll have to use a thicker foam. Or, don't worry about it. If you pick at something, everything can break. It is a fact. So then what I do is I found I made a cup. I lined that line up with the handle, and I made 4 even lines around it. Where is me? Yeah, I'm looking for my magic marker now. Oh, it's in the other room. Be right back. Ioni to you. Ioni to you. No, not phony baloney. We just use Ioni. I told him I was going to be jingling it. And I'll make some marks on this. Just 4 of them. After you get the first one, it don't really matter. You'll keep holding them up to the same cup. Alright? So, we will make the first one. I just find this exciting. Every one of these, man, I'm fucking the system. They wanted you to drink poison water from your tap, man, and we know how to fix that. They want you to have strokes and die, it seems. We have the proofs of the pudding in it. The first one's important. Actually, get it nice and straight. There'll be a moment where you can rock it a little bit, then give it a good push right in the center, and rock with your finger, a little circle motion. It helps the glue set in the little micro cracks. They'll teach you that in auto body school, right? This is that prep the surface. Perfect, nice. And then I'll just put my hand on the top and pull this magnet, contacts that cup all the way around, man. It should go out nice and straight. Let's get that first one on is hard. Yeah, it was your prepping magnets. That's something you'll end up doing in your sleep. Get your magnets ready. They take a time. You have to prep them too. I line them out on a piece of, if I'm doing a lot, it's a saw. A big long saw. And you have to alcohol them too. If you put a fingerprint on them, you have to stop what you're doing and fix it again. And pick these things up. Don't want no birds eating them. If they blow outside. Yeah, be responsible. Okay, and we'll put number 2. Perfect. And then you just breeze them along. Oh, if you had somebody helping you, if you go quicker, but this is, like I said, this isn't about how many can I make. This is about making them right. And I highly encourage you to do this yourself. Highly encourage. And you get you an Ioni. Because sifting this good water in and out of your body is so important. So important. It was a nice treat to talk with John like that. And what I just did now is I'm sighting down. I'm sighting down the barrel. Is it nice and straight? Am I happy with that? Yes. If I say yes, I squeeze it. If I say no, I adjust it till I am happy. And I wouldn't hesitate to pull one of them off. I don't care if I waste 500 pieces of tape. If it look right, is it working right? Is it balanced? Yes. Am I making the Hall effect through the water? Yes. That is all. Many ways to structure water. All I'm telling you is the way I'm doing it. For me to achieve the result I'm seeing on that microscope. And I am seeing it on that microscope. The last one on here. The last one's always a cheat. You just put it on here and sight down the barrel. And that is made. That one's done. Just needs a good cleaning. Does it spin okay? Listening to the motor. Yep, it's balanced. Good to go. These do come off the bottom. Some of them. If you do, there's a little rubber seal thing on the bottom. Make sure this stays intact. If you remove that, it'll chew the teeth off the motor on the bottom. All right, let's make another one. Yeah, I checked before and after. I told you, I'm a bit anally retentive. Well, we'll do what we gotta do. They blinded you with psyops. Doop, doop, doop. Doopity doop. Doop, doop, doop. They doop, doop. You. Doop, doop, doop. You hear that noise? Robert wasn't happy. And he took one off. Now the alignment's not where I want it. What's up? I touched it. I'll tell you, I don't care if I do it 10 times. I'll do it. You be careful when you make them, and you're gonna be able to make a lot of them for yourself, and you can make a lot of people healthy, and teach how to do this. This is fishing, man. You're gonna be able to catch your own fish. Why? Because I'm gonna holler with a bigger one on the other side of the pond fishing by myself. If you could do something for yourself that you could do with a rechargeable thing that you could do while you was in the middle of the outback, you should. If you can have it rechargeable, it ain't putting no alternating current through your body. Wait, that ain't right. There it is. Got any questions? What we got here? Hey, Robert, what type of salt did I use? I'm using, if I can find it. I'm using this particular salt here is a fine sea salt, GMO free. Isn't salt vegan by definition? I don't know. I guess if you boiled it, it'd be. I'm using this one here from Whole Earth. It's Celtic. Seasoned. Supposed to use it in food. Yeah, that's the one I'm using. This is a great big bag of it. I wanted it fine so it dissolved in the water very, very quickly. And it's giving a really good reaction. That's what I'm all about. I'm going to cycle that again. I'll do mine 5 times. Yeah, I like it high hydrogen. there's many units out there that do it, but to achieve the result I'm getting, I don't know what their unit does the same. I'll just be honest like that. I know there's a lot of different makers of tensor tools, but I know Rides and Rachel's work. Okay, so that's why I recommend their stuff. Right? Nobody else has ever sent me any of theirs just to check. And until they do, that's how that goes. Besides, Rachel's ain't broke. Why fix it? You could get them available at Chefs at Byron Bay and all sorts there. Alright, one last one. Saves down the barrel. You could do this, can't you? You can do that. You can get a hydrogen flask. If you want me to make a pair for you, I said I'd be happy to. I'm happy with that magnet. Okay. Quality control. It's mighty quiet in the shack today. Usually somebody comes in and gets some water make. I was hoping that was going to happen. And they let me check their bloods and then permission to show you guys. Oh, you want me to do mine? Wouldn't be fair. I like catching people that have never had it. And some people were coming up with files now. I've even offered you come in a few times a week. I'll buy the slides and give you the water. I just want the data. Vaxxed and unvaxxed are having problems. I've actually seen a partner of a vaxxed person had worse blood than their partner did. Oh, you're kidding me. I just did that. Well, guess where this one's going? Like that. Perfect. One more to go. Then they're good to go. I don't know if you'd like one of these, just let me know. You message me or put in a comment. If anybody's getting any side messages for anybody saying bad shit about me and I find out later you didn't tell me, I'm going to get angry and upset. I got help for a lawsuit about slander going on right now, and I appreciate all that is being sent to me. You guys have been fantastic. Helping me deal with this latest attack on my character. That I'm actually got a lawyer help this time. I ain't playing games. One. Hang on a minute, I'm just marking this last one. Don't screw up. All right, where did I put the cap? So y'all are doing all right, eh? Hey Nelson, you look like you got another one coming. I think this one's going to hit the top out more than the south. That one that's coming at the end of the month. All the dynamics of the storm so far are looking like almost like a repeat of something that you've already had before, with the same type totals. So I'm a big concern for the Hawke's Bay area again, coming at the end of the month. So I ain't made nothing official yet, but I will soon. You know me. I won't let that sucker creep at your door without you knowing. It's all about the big love, man. Right. My fingers ain't cooperating. Yeah, trim my nails. You can't tell, but I can. Come on, there we go. It's always one of the last ones. The blind in you. How much sea salt can be added? I do. It's not much at all. I'm doing about 3 shakes. 1, 2, 3. It's coming up the way. It ain't much. It's about it. If I counted the grains in my hand, it looked like there's about 35 of them. No, really, it wasn't that much. I just do. It was 4 shakes that time. It wasn't much. Get a very vibrant reaction. That was 3 times through and it's it. Some of you are thinking it. So I'm going to say it. How long will it hold after you make it? Yeah, about 36 hours. You're good to go. And if it, after 36 hours, put it back in a flask and rehydrogen it. Bring it right back. Bring it right back. But if you've used those molecules up, they're not there to turn back into that reaction again. I suggest you drink it. And you can put alkali sticks and whatever in your water after you make it. Whatever's your personal preference for your own terrain is what matters, because you're going to keep track of your own stuff. Now you're going to get stuff like that. Where are they? I had them here earlier. You're going to get litmus paper. You're going to check your pee. You're going to keep a track of your electrical system of your body. I got it somewhere. You're going to get the pH strips. I've got about 500 of them here now. I want to know. I know a lot of people check that too. I want to know what the pH is, what their blood looked like before they drank the water and after. If they're drinking the water every day, throughout the day, I've only got to do one sample on them. And so I watch this space, because I'm accumulating data sets now. And verifying, is this what I'm looking at? So I know that what I'm analyzing your correctly. Telling you what I'm seeing. This is a leukocyte, this is lipids, this is a white cell in the process of doing this, and blah, blah, blah. And I'll be able to see what they call a virus. I have actually seen in blood spiky looking pollen-y things. Just sight down the barrel here. On the go, on the go. I wish I could afford to buy these 200 at a time and stuff. Just a little extra crisp. Something didn't line up right. And then I get a problem. Houston, he had a problem. One of my magnets is off. That one was off. I miss having tools and stuff. A 3D printer, just make a rig, because that would be very handy. But if you bought a different model, you'd need a new rig. All right, these are ready to go. Wipe off and you clean them out. Be careful. Don't lose your windings. I love my tweezers. Just in case anything got touched inside. Funkatized Chinese backdrop of fingers or something. I don't know. Pack them up for you guys. You're ready to go. There wasn't much sea salt that was needed. Let me see some other comments here. We've got another mouse over there. Magnetized drinking water. Use Ioni water blended or placed in a glass in a jug and spring water. Yeah, there's many ways, Jane, like I said, to structure your water. I just showed you what I use. And it's getting the result I'm seeing in people. So if it ain't broke, I ain't fixing it. And, well, somebody wants to send me one of those wines to check and use, I would welcome that. So I'll go over it. But I will only do it with honesty. You know, check it with meters and stuff like I do everything. That's right. I'll do it. I'll drink the water with it and I'll look at it under a microscope. I want independent things like that. Because that's what it's all about. I know all you people selling them are doing it because you want people healthy. I love that about you guys. And I do see how the Ioni can help in between treatments. I do. It keep the cell oscillating at the Schumann resonance in between, so when you go to work on those localized areas with your wands and your other machines, it'll you will get a better result. You have to. You have nice little conversations with the professor about things like that to make sure I'm thinking about things correctly. All right, where are the boxes? you fudgicles. Well, guess what gets an alcohol light? It just rolled and landed on its side. That was strange. Don't do that very often. These things always come off. I nearly just shifted without it on it. I don't think they were thinking very much when they made that plug. Told you I'm a little bit too picky. Ready to fuck pharma. Next! Yeah, it doesn't take much salt to do it. I'll not be holding my mouth right now. Where's my tape? And you get a cable with it. Tape is shit. Let me take my cable. You know I made it because I always put a little smiley in the corner. That's what that is. Mr. Happy. You put a Mr. Happy on it. Yeah. This makes me grin. Because I know they're trying to toxify our water so bad. And whether it's chemical spills and this and that to make it so you're not going to have water that's potable. And well, we can handle that. We can do it ourselves. Yeah, there's definitely looks like there's something going on to poison the water. Between the fluoride and this year's blatant spills over in the Ohio Valley down there could theoretically shut down hundreds of thousands of square miles of land where it's unusable. And they'll tell you it is. And all we saw was smoke in the air. Right? Give us the chemical's name. Well, I just say that. I don't trust a bunch of nothing that from a bunch of one small step for man motherfuckers. Right? This Kubrick gold brick world. It's cool. I just don't. I was trying not to swear. I did a pretty good job up until that point. It's okay to go. That's all I got in stock. When they go, they go. Well, I got 3 to sell now. There's 3 more that I had this morning. I'll use a little towel on that. Perfect. Excellent. You can be happy with what you do in life. We're sold as we have to do stuff fast. More than that, we have to do it right. You know? How many did you do at work today? I don't know. How many did you do correctly? I want to know. You was at the end of that assembly line. How many were correct? And I'm not talking about you stacked one wrong in the box. When they got to the customer's head, were they built right? Did they last? Love it. That's it. One more FU to Big Pharma. So that's how you make those. And so if you're interested in knowing or buy purchase an Ioni, go on that site. If you want it turned into a twin kit, email us. Or message me if you can't get in contact with me. I'll be checking those messages that don't get through. I have been in the habit of doing that lately. So I gotta go toilet. Think love, people. Thank you for your time. And be you. And be free to be your oneness. And be oneness with the big oneness. And then I'll be in oneness with you. Big love. Peace.